Hello everyone, my name is Tyler Young and I am with R.V. Anderson Associates Limited, presenting on behalf of Niagara Region. Thank you for participating in this Public Information Center for the Grimsby Water Treatment Plant Expansion Class Environmental Assessment, or EA for short. We would like to start with an acknowledgement that the Grimsby Water Treatment Plant is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Hattawandurunk, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The Regional Municipality of Niagara stands with all Indigenous peoples, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live. This is the first Public Information Center, also referred to as a PIC, for the Grimsby Water Treatment Plant Expansion Class EA. This PIC will be available for viewing on the project website for the duration of the study. We also encourage you to provide comments related to this presentation or the EA study itself. We will share how to provide your input at the end of this presentation. This PIC will provide background information on the Grimsby Water Treatment Plant and anticipated growth in its distribution area. The problem and opportunity statement for the environmental assessment will also be presented. We will also share the different alternatives that are being considered to provide increased water demand based on the growth in the community. We will then discuss how these alternatives were screened to identify reasonable and feasible alternatives that were then evaluated in more detail to identify the recommended solution. Finally, we will explain the next steps and describe how you can continue to participate in this study. Niagara Region is considering different ways to provide additional water supply for the Grimsby Water Treatment Plant to support planned growth up to 2051. Additional capacity is required to provide water for the growing population. The Grimsby Water Treatment Plant does not currently have the capacity available to handle the anticipated 2051 water demands. An expansion or upgrade is being reviewed to confirm the right solution to meet future water demands. The Grimsby Water Treatment Plant is located at 300 North Service Road in Grimsby, Ontario. The water treatment plant supplies water to the town of Grimsby, town of Lincoln, and the township of West Lincoln. This EA is categorized as a Schedule C Municipal Class Environmental Assessment, which we will explain in the coming slides. The 2021 Niagara Region Water and Wastewater Master Servicing Plan update and the 2022 Niagara Region Official Plan documented significant growth in the town of Grimsby, town of Lincoln, and the township of West Lincoln. The Water and Wastewater Master Servicing Plan update identified a need for additional water supply capacity to service this planned growth. It recommended increasing the capacity of the Grimsby Water Treatment Plant by 22 million liters per day, from 44 million liters per day to 66 million liters per day. The Master Servicing Plan also recommended increasing the high lift pumping capacity to assist with distributing the increased flows. The future expansion capacity was reviewed through the current Grimsby Water Treatment Plant Class EA using the rates shown and projected population and employment growth. The total capacity required to service growth to the year 2051 was estimated to be approximately 67 million liters per day. This is a similar capacity value as recommended in the 2021 Niagara Region Water and Wastewater Master Servicing Plan update. The increased water capacity is roughly the size of one treatment train at the Grimsby Water Treatment Plant. The Grimsby Water Treatment Plant currently has 2 treatment trains of about 22 million liters per day. As we mentioned earlier, the purpose of this study is to complete a Schedule C Class EA to identify how best to provide additional water supply capacity. A Schedule C Class EA is necessary for water infrastructure projects of moderate to high complexity and requires completing all 4 phases of the Municipal Class EA process. Phase 1 is developing the problem and opportunity statement. This also includes reviewing background information and documenting existing conditions to become familiar with the objectives and needs of the project. A problem and opportunity statement is created based on this information. Phase 2 of the EA process is developing and evaluating alternative solutions. A long list of solutions that could address the problem and opportunity is developed. The long list is reduced to a single recommended solution by screening and evaluating alternatives against specific criteria. The recommended solution is the alternative that poses the most benefits or least impacts. Once the recommended solution is confirmed, alternative design concepts are then developed to consider how to implement the recommended solution. This is phase 3 of the EA process. Alternative design concepts are then evaluated to determine the recommended design concept. Phase 4 of the EA process is preparing an environmental study report. This is a public document that includes all information leading up to the final recommended design concept, including clear documentation of all decision-making processes. The environmental study report is made available for the public to review and comment on for a 30-day period. We are currently in phase 2 of the EA process, and this public information center will present the alternatives considered and the evaluation criteria used to determine the recommended solution. We'll start with some background and information about the current Grimsby water treatment plant. The plant is a conventional water treatment plant that draws water from Lake Ontario. The maximum day water demand reached 81% of the water treatment plant's capacity in the last 3 years and will continue to increase with future growth in the service area. In addition to the need for additional capacity, several other improvements that would help the efficiency and overall operation of the facility were also identified, as listed on this slide. Based on the objectives of the project and information shared on the previous slide, the problem and opportunity statement was developed. The Niagara region is completing this study to identify a preferred solution for the expansion of the Grimsby water treatment plant to service future growth to 2051. The preferred solution will support service area growth to 2051 while considering opportunities for operational flexibility and redundancy, provide resiliency to potential future changes to regulatory, climatic, and raw water quality conditions, and balance environmental, social, technical, and economic considerations. The study area is shown in the image on the right and is limited to Niagara Region's property at the Grimsby water treatment plant. Existing conditions within the study area were inventoried. Stage 1 and Stage 2 archaeological assessments have previously been completed in the study area. Previous investigations concluded the property does not retain any archaeological potential and no further archaeological assessment is required. The previous studies were limited to the area shown on the map. Phase 3 of this Class EA will confirm footprint requirements, and if the recommended solution is anticipated to impact the area that was not assessed, additional archaeological investigation will be undertaken. Ecological assessment of the existing property was also previously completed. An environmental impact study and tree inventory were completed. The studies concluded the property has little retained ecological interest due to the small size and relative isolation of the woodland area. The studies noted the woodland area is a candidate for significant wildlife habitat for bat maternity colonies. Additional environmental impact studies are not anticipated. However, impact mitigation measures will be established for the recommended solution. Multiple alternatives were considered to provide a solution that addresses the problem and opportunity statement, specifically do nothing, do not allow growth, and increase servicing capacity. Multiple options for increasing servicing capacity were also considered. Construct a new water treatment plant, expand the existing water treatment plant, increase water conservation, connect to an external water distribution system. The two systems that were considered were Woodward Avenue Water Treatment Plant owned by the City of Hamilton, DQ Falls Water Treatment Plant owned by the Niagara region. This long list of alternatives was screened based on a pass or fail ranking of the criteria shown. For the alternative to pass the screening, it must pass all three criteria. The criteria included: is the alternative feasible and reasonable? Does the alternative address the problem and opportunity statement? Does the alternative meet the applicable planning policies? After screening the long list of alternatives, the following options were screened out and not evaluated further. Alternative 2, do not allow growth. Alternative 3A, construct a new water treatment plant. Alternative 3C, increase water conservation. Alternative 3D1, connect to the City of Hamilton Woodward Avenue Water Treatment Plant. Alternative 3D2, connect to the Region of Niagara DQ Falls Water Treatment Plant. While Alternative 1, do nothing, did not pass the screening, it was carried forward to evaluation as a baseline for comparison of the shortlisted alternatives. Alternative 3B, expand the existing water treatment plant, passed all screening criteria as it allows for growth, provides a long-term solution, and meets the problem and opportunity statement and the planning policies. This alternative was carried forward to the short list of alternatives. The do nothing alternative and the expand the existing water treatment plant alternative were evaluated for potential social, technical, and environmental impacts. These alternatives were also evaluated against relative cost and financial risk. This considered affordability, relative magnitude of expense, additional costs related to unknowns, and potential construction risks that could impact the cost or other financial risk. The results from the detailed evaluation are summarized in the table and reflects the general alignment of the alternative with the evaluation criteria. The least positive or most negative impacts were considered to have low alignment with criteria, illustrated as double downward orange arrows. Conversely, the most positive or least negative impacts were considered to be very well aligned with criteria, illustrated as double upward blue arrows. Overall, the do-nothing alternative received low alignment for social and technical impacts. No construction or change of the property would be required, which means no approvals, change to maintenance, but the 2051 growth demands would not be met. The environmental impact was as positive as possible, as there would be no construction, meaning no potential impacts to wildlife, vegetation, air quality, or climate change. The relative cost and financial risk received a somewhat aligned scoring. There would be no capital costs, but the existing plant may require additional routine maintenance as it would be working harder to produce more water, but still not meet 2051 requirements. The expand the existing water treatment plant alternative received well-aligned scoring for social, environmental, and relative cost and financial risk impacts. The alternative meets the growth demand and no property purchase would be required, but there would be potential for noise and dust impact to the neighboring areas. There is also potential for moderate impacts to the environment, but the risks will be reduced through mitigation measures and the residual impacts are anticipated to be low. The most positive ranking for the alternative, very well aligned with the criteria, is related to the technical impact. Minor approvals are anticipated. The alternative will allow for increased water capacity, an opportunity to increase redundancy, and minimal construction sequencing is anticipated. There would be initial capital costs for expansion and higher costs for operation and maintenance associated with a bigger plant, but the grounds have previously been disturbed and investigated, so there is a low risk for unforeseen conditions. Based on this evaluation, the recommended solution was identified to be alternative 3B, expand the existing water treatment plant. Expanding the existing Grimsby water treatment plant would bring the plant to a future capacity of approximately 67 million liters per day. That is an expansion of approximately 23 million liters per day, or one additional treatment train. Expansion of the plant is anticipated to be within the existing regional property as shown in the image. Further design concepts of the expansion will be detailed in Phase 3 of the Class EA. These details will be presented at a future public information center. Following the current public information center, the project team will review comments received regarding materials shared in this presentation, including the recommended solution. After the comment period for this public information center closes, the project will progress to Phase 3 and consider alternative design concepts to expand the existing Grimsby water treatment plant. A second public information center will be held to share information from Phase 3 and will include a description of the recommended design concept. Thank you for participating in this public information center. This presentation will remain on the project website and can be referenced or rewatched for the duration of the study. We also encourage you to continue to participate and engage in this study. All notices and information related to the project will be posted on the Region's project website, and interested individuals can also request to be added to the project contact list to receive copies of future notices directly. Niagara Region welcomes your input and comments. You can submit questions, comments, or suggestions regarding the information presented at this Public Information Center using the online comment form or by directly contacting a member of the project team. All comments received will be reviewed and considered as the study progresses. The comment period for this Public Information Center will close at 5 p.m. on July 7th, 2023, and the comment form on the website will be removed at that time. Thank you again for participating. If you have any questions or comments, do not hesitate to contact a member of our project team. This slide will remain on the screen for a moment so you can make note of members of the project team.